Okay, ladies and gents, what's up? So this time, here's my preview for the Serbia and the Lithuania game. That's right, another game, another Euro 2024 qualifiers game that I'm super hyped up about, because you look at the Serbia national team. Listen, man, I think the time is right now for Serbia to make a push and finally qualify for the Euros. I believe Serbia can definitely do it, especially as long as they got the top form of Mitrovic, Vlahovic, Kostic, Tadic, Milenkovic, Savic, Pavlovic. I think that anything is possible for this Serbia national team. That's right, because you look at the Serbia national team here in their recent matchups against Lithuania, they hold a much advantage here, and I think it's a very slim chance that Lithuania will be able to try to figure out how to beat Serbia, just because Lithuania, their team isn't really that good compared to the Serbia national team. No disrespect to Lithuania, but it's just, man, with Serbia, I just think that they have that big area advantage here over Lithuania in terms of defense, midfield, front attack. I think Serbia have the advantage over that. And you know, with the Serbian national team here, if they don't qualify for the Euros, I will be really disappointed, just because, you know, going back to the 2022 World Cup, I had really high hopes for the Serbian national team, but unfortunately, much like the 2018 World Cup, they failed to make it out of the group stage for these past two consecutive World Cups. And for 2018, man, obviously the deciding factor was, I guess, that Switzerland and Brazil game. But going back to that Switzerland matchup at the 2018 World Cup, let's be honest, Serbia, that match was the worst officiated game I've ever seen since Netherlands versus Mexico 2014, when they awarded the Netherlands a penalty in which I think should have not been awarded, when obviously Marquez stepped on Robin's foot, but that's history. And then in that Serbia-Switzerland matchup, Mitrovic dragged to the ground, not given a penalty, so that was just complete bullshit. And that just really proves my point why I think the World Cup is just a very shady and just a very rigged game, if I'm being honest here, just because it's like, you mean to tell me that that wasn't a penalty on Mitrovic? Like, that's some bullshit. Like, that's just some straight up bullshit. But yeah, just had to get this off of my chest here, because in that matchup, I was playing for Serbia, and especially when it comes to tournaments, I like watching the Balkan nations. You know, I already said before, you know, Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, Albania, Kosovo, etc. I like watching all those nations compete at tournaments, and I always root for any Balkan nation that makes it to a tournament, because that's what makes watching football interesting for the most part. But with the Serbian national team, I think they're going to win this game. I'm saying 4-0 for Serbia. That's realistically my prediction, because I imagine this will be a very high scoring game, where I guess Vlahovic and Mitrovic will be looking to show why they can be the best two-headed front attack in Europe. That's right, because obviously I said in my preview video prior to the World Cup about the Serbian national team that I really thought that Serbia could show the world why they have the best striker partnership at the World Cup. But I guess you could say my prediction has aged like milk. But this time, now that the World Cup is over, now Serbia are, I think, really going to be playing with a lot of motivation, because obviously at the 2022 World Cup, I had high hopes for Serbia, and obviously Serbia, once again, disappointing to watch, failed to make it out of the group stage. They couldn't even win a single game. And the thing that makes the Serbian national team so just really, I guess you could say, depressing to watch at the 2022 World Cup is that they had two games where they had like a lead by a goal or two, especially in that Cameroon game. They blew a 3-1 lead. Well, yeah, they did, but they didn't lose that game. And then that Switzerland game, they actually were playing much better compared to the first matchup, you know, because they were up 2-1 against Switzerland at the World Cup. But the issue is Serbia's defense just couldn't figure out how to defend against Switzerland's front attack, and especially against Switzerland's midfield. Like, Serbia just couldn't figure out how to defend against Switzerland, and that's why they lost again to Switzerland, much like how they did in 2018. But I guess you could say that's history. So yeah, in this game, I definitely have my high hopes up for Serbia. I don't see them losing or drawing this game. I see him winning 4-0 against Lithuania. I'm going to say a brace for Mitrovic and for Vlahovic. So yeah, it's interesting if Stojkovic is going to play 4-4-2. And I know that Serbia recently also had an election, or I guess the Serbian FA had an election on who's going to be the president of the Serbian FA. And I really thought that Nemanja Vidic, my homie Vidic, was going to win. But I guess you could say Vidic either was president pressured into reconsidering his candidacy. I guess it's because it has to do something with, I guess, politics and corruption within the Serbian FA, according to my understanding on football Twitter of what I read about the Serbian FA on football Twitter and all that. So yeah, Dragan Djajic is the new president of the Serbian FA, but it really should have been Nemanja Vidic, just because I feel like that Nemanja Vidic can really help steer the development of the Serbian national team in the right direction and see if Serbia can actually be a really good football team for the first time since 1998, when they were still part of, well, yes, when they were back then, I guess, called the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Not sure though, but yeah, back then they were called Yugoslavia, and last time they were good was 1998, you know, the 98 World Cup, and ever since they lost that matchup to the Netherlands, it seems like that the Serbian national team now has been figuring out how to be that team again, and they just couldn't be that team that they once were, because yeah, I can admit, I feel like that the Serbian national team has become a shell of what they used to be when they were still Yugoslavia on the international football stage, because the Yugoslavia national team, dude, that team was impressive as heck. I don't know how the heck that team never won a World Cup, but I really felt like Yugoslavia are one of those footballing nations that should have won at least the Euros or the World Cup. So yeah, but I think this is going to be a fun matchup. Yeah, I'm saying 4-0 Serbia, so let me know what y'all think.